This conference will now be recorded.
Before I start today's session, I wanted to know is everyone is able to practice this network load balancer and application load balancer? Forget about Route 53 and that ACM because you don't have a domain. You don't have a domain except that Route 53 and ACM certificates. Are you guys able to practice network load balancer as well as application load balancer? Good. So assignments and practice is very important so that you can understand the concept very clearly and how it works in the actual environment also in your project. You can understand and you can relate if you have done the lot of hands-on, lot of practice. Not only just attending the classes, at the same time doing the assignments and practice will give more confidence to you. Once you get into a project, you can relate already. If you have done lot of practice, you can relate how this is working. In the interview also, if they ask, you can easily explain and easily you can crack the interview and you can manage the work also. You don't need any support proxy like that if you have already done all this practice. So that's why I'm saying attendance is one thing mandatory. At the same time, assignments and practice also mandatory. We are here to help you when we are discussing for your batch. We have dedicatedly available for you. If you are practicing, we can help you. But after the course, if you come and ask me, I might be busy with my trainings, my work, and you might be busy with your work. It won't work out that way. When we are discussing for your batch, try to practice as much as possible and understand. Any question, post in the Skype group. If you are not attending, if you are not doing the assignment, I cannot do anything. Try to practice as much as possible. Okay. Now let's continue with next topic, auto scaling. Before I go for auto scaling, let's understand the current architecture. Now I have my application servers, which are in private network, private subnet. I expose those applications to the end user's internet using load balancer. Using load balancer, I used application load balancer where I configured certificates also. And this load balancer has a listener. Listener is forwarding the traffic to the respective target groups. In these target groups, I have a servers. I have a servers where I have added my servers here. At the same time, this load balancer is mapped with my domain, mithuntechdevops.co.in. And the load balancer is configured with certificates. Am I able to access my application securely? I mean to say, does end users is able to access the application securely? Now you are the end user, I am the one end user. But can I consider I am as a, myself as a CEO or owner of this application? CEO as a company, Mithun Technologies as a company, I can consider I am the owner or CEO of that company. I developed one application for my requirement. I hosted for end users. This is very simple application only. But as per my requirement, can I enhance? Can I hire developers, front-end developers, back-end developers, and develop the application as per my requirement? Yes. But at the background, the load balancing, networking, CI/CD, everything remains same. Now, what is the advantage of CI/CD now? I am able to access that application. Let's say in the background, developers are modifying the code. In the background, developers are modifying the code. Now, if I have a CI/CD pipelines, if I have a CI/CD pipelines in the background, does Jenkins will be able to build and deploy that application to those servers? The other side end users are accessing via ELB. Let's say In the live environment, you will not continuously integrate, but in the lower environments, can we using the CI/CD pipelines, whenever there is a change in the code, developers are modifying the code. The developers are modifying the code. If I have a CI/CD, if I have a DevOps in process, DevOps methodology is followed, I have some pipelines here. Does this pipelines can take that code, compile the code, do the source code quality check, and promote that code to the lower environment servers in the background? Most of the applications will it do continuous delivery, continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery. Three things are there: CI, continuous integration, CD. Here two things: continuous deployment. One more is continuous delivery. What is the difference between continuous deployment and continuous delivery? Already Bhaskar sir might have explained, but just to recap, continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Is every application will follow continuous delivery? No. Continuous delivery in the sense, whenever there is a change in the code, continuously you are delivering that code till production without any approvals. Without any approvals, you are just directly deploying into the production. Are we going to follow continuous delivery in most of the applications? 99%? No. Continuous deployment in the sense, in lower environments, whenever there is a change in the source code, if this is my dev environment, can I deploy that code in the dev QA, UAT till pre-prod without any approvals also? Lower environments deployment. But when it comes to production environment, you can do with approvals. You have a pipeline. You can write a pipeline manually. You are not going to deploy. You will have a separate pipeline for deploying in production. So, do you need approvals before you run that pipeline? Do you need approvals from stakeholders like QA team, BA team, product owners, product managers? If you have all the approvals, then can I deploy that one into my production? I can deploy that in production. Suppose if while deploying in production, can I route my load balancer to some temporary page, maintenance page? If I want to inform my end users, can I route the traffic to some temporary page? Like my application is in maintenance window, this will be down so and so time. Then can we deploy our application in the background? End users will see that maintenance page. Your application is down. It is in maintenance window. We can do that. Then can we in the background, can we deploy here? Once deployment is successful, can I change this target group again? I can change the target group to some temporary website. Later, once this deployment is done, can I again route the target, can I again update my listener to route the traffic to the actual target groups again in the production? In my listener, I can update my listener to route the traffic to some maintenance page. If the production deployment started, I can route the traffic to some maintenance page. Once the deployment is happen, can I update my listeners to route the traffic to actual target groups again? Once the deployment is successful, we can do that. So, but in the lower environments, can I continuously integrate? Lower environments, even though your application is down for some time, no issues. Is end users are going to impact if you are doing the deployment continuously in the lower environments? End users will not impact. Only developers, QA team, testing team, no issues. So is everyone clear? What is DevOps and what is this? Are we going to use all these things together in these DevOps methodologies? you need to relate. You need to relate all these things, or you are going to use as part of DevOps. This is also one thing. Without infrastructure, without load balancers, without servers, will you able to implement DevOps methodology in your project? No, right? So you need all these things. You are automating. DevOps is basically automation. Automation. Wherever it is required, can I automate using DevOps tools? As part of DevOps, you have different categories: source code tools, SCM tools, where you will maintain the source code, CI/CD tool like Jenkins, that is where you will write your automation pipelines, and we can use artifact trees to store the artifact trees like Nexus, JFrog. You can use SonarQube to do the source code quality check before you deploy it to the lower environments also. This way you can relate. Okay. Now let's come back to actual topic. In load balancer, one more thing we can do: logs. Can I log all the request which is coming to my load balancer? Can I log all the request, which means from which client request is coming, and what is the response going back from my server? Can I log all those requests, whatever is coming to load balancer? Yes. So that can be done in the load balancer. As of now, here in the load balancer description, this logs, access logs, is it enabled or disabled as of now? It's disabled. If required, can I enable and store all the requests, whatever is coming to load balancer, and from what response is going back to the client from load balancer? That is very important, guys. Tracking is very important. Who is accessing your application? What response is going back from load balancer or from your application? You need to track. So here I can enable by clicking on this load balancer description, by clicking on this edit attributes. I can enable the logging, access logs. But where exactly this ELB will store the logs? Where exactly ELB will store the logs? If you see S3, S3. Suppose I already have some S3 bucket. Can I give that bucket name? If I already have some S3 bucket, can I give that bucket name here like this? If I don't have this bucket, can I choose this option? Create this bucket for me. So does this bucket will be created and used to store the logs? Yes. So let me click on like this. Now access logs are enabled. Access logs are enabled. Now once this is done, one second. Access logs. Some unique name needs to be given. I'm just giving something like this, random name. Let me select this one. Sometimes the browser also having a problems, guys. So browser issues also will be there. Let me do this. It is not responding. Let's wait for some time, maybe. Access logs, enable. Mithun Tech 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like this I'm giving. Create this bucket for me. Then click on this save. Maybe I have to try in a different browser. Let me do this. Let me open here, maybe different browser. 1 second. Let me go to this EC2. Let me go to this load balancers. Listeners, not sorry, listeners here, description, this edit attributes, this access logs. Let me give something like this. Mithun Tech DevOps ALB access logs, something like this. I'm giving, clicking on this save. So there might be some browser compatibility issues also. That's why it has not worked there. Now is access logs enabled now into this bucket? Which means now if I access my application, so from which machine request is going, what server is responding, is all these things will be logged in the test3 bucket. Yes. Now if you see, I will show that. But if you see as of now, what is the default algorithm in my case? If you see, I have two servers in this target group. What is the default algorithm? One request is coming from one server, another request is coming from another server. What is the default algorithm now you see here? Round robin. Because how many servers I have in the background? Two servers. So it is distributing the load between those two, round robin. But if I don't want to use round robin, can I update to sticky session? Sticky session. What is the meaning of sticky session? Whatever server processed my first request, I am one of the client. Whatever server processed my first request till my session is expired, does the request will be processed by same server? It will stick to that session. It will stick to that machine. Whatever server processed my first request till my session is expired, same session, same server will process my request. If required, can I enable that one also? That is done in the target groups. Go to the target groups. Go to the target groups. In this target group, attributes. So attributes, load balancing algorithm. What is the load balancing algorithm defined in this target group? Round robin. Now can I edit? Can I edit and give least outstanding request, least connections? What is the meaning of least connection? Whatever server has processing less request, the request will go to that server. Whatever server is processing less active connections, is it going to go to that server? Less connections, least request? Yes. Otherwise, can I use this sticky session? Sticky session. So sticky session, how long? Let's say you can define in 30 seconds, 1 minute, also like that. What is the meaning of this sticky session duration? If I'm continuously accessing for 1 hour also, session will not expire. If I open this page, if I open some page, if I'm ideal for some time, you will have a time, session timeouts in the application, right? So if I am ideal for some time, you are not doing anything, in that case, the session will be expired. Just to make it simple, you guys are accessing maybe sbi.com or citibank.com, hdfc.com. You log in, you logged into that application. Then you are not doing any transaction. You are not clicking on any page, any button. You are ideal for some time. After some time, you come and click on some button. Will it again redirect you back to login? Which means is your session is expired. Yes. So that is session timeout. If I am continuously doing something in that website, in that page, then the session will be expired after 30 seconds? No. If you are ideal, then that time. Which means now I am enabling sticky session. I am enabling sticky session. I am one of the client. Whatever server processed my request, first request, does all the subsequent request goes to the same server in the backend unless until my session is expired? Yes. Let me show that. Now I am getting from 204. Even after I am trying to do multiple things here, I am refreshing multiple times. Is am I getting response from same server? If you see 204, but you guys are accessing, you might be getting from different server, but continuously same server, unless until your session is expired. Are you getting anyone from different server other than 204? 93, but same server. But if I am ideal for some time, if my session is expired, then will I maybe get response from 93 again if my session is expired after some time? Yes. So that is sticky session. All these things are load balancing concept. Now let me go to S3. Let me go to S3. So is up that load balancer, is it logging the request to that S3 bucket? Whatever I have enabled access logs. Is that access logs are written here in this bucket? This one. It has created some folder like this, AWS logs. Within that folder, again one more folder. Here we have some logs like this. Again some folders date wise. Date wise we have logs. So this is already compressed. If I download and extract, can I see something like what client, what server has responded, all those things I can see. Let me download to my laptop. Let me extract that. Now let me open this file. Now can I see, is it a tracking request is coming for which host and from what client IP address also I can see my IP address also, laptop IP, and the request is forwarded to which server. What is the response? This 200, this 200 is nothing but what? Status code. Status code. This server process that request, and client IP also I can see. I can see my IP address also from which client request came. What is my IP? 49.205. Can I see that IP, guys? Here. Can I see my sorry? Can I see my IP address? Which means Hello everyone. Is it audible now? Am I audible now? Okay. Seems there is some issue with my network. Okay. Let's continue. What I was talking, basically, now I have a load balancer. Load balancer is routing the traffic to these target groups. Is the load balancer is performing the health checks in the background on these target groups? Yes. Now, since it's an application load balancer, is it performing the health on the server and the port, or is it performing the health on the application also? Can we define health checks on the application itself? We can define a health check on the application itself. Let's say this server is down, our Tomcat is down, our application is not working. Then does this load balancer will mark that server as unhealthy? So I no need to stop this server. I no need to stop this server just to demonstrate that one. I will SSH to this server. I will SSH to this server. Can I stop Tomcat in that server and see whether it is able to mark that as unhealthy? Yes. So let me do that. So let me connect to jump server first because it's a private server. Will I able to SSH to that server directly to stop the Tomcat in that server? No. So I connected to jump server. From jump server, I'm stopping one of my server. So I'm getting response from 204. Let me stop that server. Let me stop the 204 server. This one, this server, 204. Let me stop that Tomcat. I'm SSHing here. Now let me go inside OPT Tomcat 8 bin. Guys, if I remove this application also, if I remove this WAR file also, still it is performing the health check on that application itself. Will it considered as a failure? Will that mark that machine as a failure? Unhealthy? If I remove this WAR file, which means if I remove this application, yes. I am not removing. I am not removing. I am just shutting down my Tomcat. I am stopping my Tomcat process. I am stopping my Tomcat process. Now Tomcat is down. Now let me access my application. What is the meaning of 502 bad gateway? Why I am getting 502 bad gateway when I am accessing this one? Since I have enabled a sticky session, and is it trying to route the traffic to that same server, whatever earlier it was responding to me? Yes. But is load balancer is getting valid response from upstream server? Upstream server is nothing but the target server. Is load balancer is getting valid response from upstream server, that actual server? No. So that's why I was getting 502. But by this time, is load balancer recognize that that node is unhealthy? Is it marked as unhealthy and it has started routing the traffic to me to another server now? Now, if I go there, in the target group, can I see that as unhealthy now? In the target group, can I see that has unhealthy? Refresh this one. Refresh here. Can I see that has unhealthy? Yes. Now, let's assume this server also impacted. This server also impacted, let's say. Do I have any targets available for my load balancer to route the traffic? Suppose this server also is impacted. Will I have any server, other server, which will available to serve our traffic? No. In that case, are we going to get errors like this? 502 bad gateway. It is just doing the load balancing. If something goes wrong with your application or that server, is it recreating your server or is it fixing that problem? Is fault tolerance is happening? Is load balancing is doing fault tolerance? No. So load balancing is just doing the load balancing only. I mean to say only it is routing the traffic. But it is just routing the traffic and it is performing health check. Health check just to shift the traffic away from the failure instance. Is now the traffic is shifted away from this failure instance? Is everyone is getting response from this server? Because only one server is healthy. Now for some reason this server also goes down. Lot of load is there. We have only one server. Lot of people access this application. The CPU utilization will go high. Does memory utilization will go high on that server? Will it impact the server and the process which is running in that server? If lot of people access this application, yes. In that case, does that application also, that server also impacts? Do you have any other application server to serve the traffic? No. Then how can I make sure? How can I make sure I always have enough servers available to serve my traffic, for serve my application? At any point of time, I need to have a minimum servers. And based on the load, I want to scale the servers. How can I do that? That is where auto scaling comes into picture here. That is where auto scaling comes into picture here. I want to make sure at any point of time, minimum I have, let's say, minimum I need 5 servers. At any point of time, I need minimum 5 servers. Based on the load, I should be able to scale up, down. I should be able to scale out and scale in. Scale out or scaling based on the load automatically. Then what is the one more service which we can leverage in the cloud so that at any point of time I will have some servers based on the load, it will increase and decrease the servers based on the load. That is where auto scaling comes into picture. So what is this auto scaling? What is this auto scaling? Auto scaling is also one service in Kubernetes. Auto scaling is one service in Kubernetes. As of now, is my servers are managed by auto scaling group? As of now, whatever servers I have where I deployed my application, is those servers are managed by auto scaling group? No. So if something goes wrong with that servers, am I going to get another server automatically? The servers which is not created by auto scaling, am I going to get another server automatically? The servers which is not created by auto scaling, if something goes wrong with that server, am I going to get another server automatically if it is not created by auto scaling? No. So now suppose this server went down. Let's say this server went down. I am intentionally stopping one more server, this server. I'm intentionally stopping the server, or I'm terminating the server or stopping the server. Am I going to get another server automatically? Or if there are any network issues, it is not able to reach that server, there are network issues or the server is crashed, are you going to get another server automatically? No. Now this server is also down. Is my application accessible now? Is my application accessible? Am I going to get 502? Once this is identified that is also not reachable. Once load balancer identify that, I will have I'm getting 502. 502 is different. 503 is different. 502 server is not responding, right? 503 there are no upstream servers. What is the meaning of no upstream servers? Do I have any servers available to serve the traffic for my load balancer? That is 503. Now here, after some time, you can see both are down. Both are down. Like I stopped one server, I stopped some server. So I'll get some response like this. So this is not happening. Now, am I going to get another server automatically here for that application now? No. And also, even though my server is running, if there is lot of load coming in, lot of loads is coming, does the servers will be automatically increased and decreased based on the load? No. Even though my servers are healthy? No. I want to make sure I have enough servers, and based on the load, I want to increase and decrease. Because I don't want always to have a 10 servers, 20 servers, because I don't know when the request will come. I don't know the traffic pattern. Again, is it recommended to always run 20 servers, 30 servers, even though there is no load on your application? No. If you have, does infrastructure charges will be very high? Always you are running 20 servers, 30 servers, and there is no load. The infrastructure charges will be very high. Instead of doing like this, AWS is offering one service called auto scaling. AWS is offering one service called auto scaling. So, sorry. AWS is offering one service called auto scaling. So, Amazon auto scaling will help you to ensure that you have a correct number of EC2 instances available to handle the load for your application. If I go with auto scaling, does the auto scaling will ensure that I have correct number of EC2 instances available to handle my load? Yes. What are the benefits? What are the benefits with auto scaling? Will I have a better fault tolerance? Fault tolerance, which means does EC2 auto scaling will it able to detect whether an instance is healthy or not, whether that instance is running or not, whether that instance is healthy or not? It can detect. If it is identified that it is unhealthy, if it is identified that it is unhealthy, what auto scaling does? It will terminate that instance, and will it create another instance to replace that one? It will terminate that instance, and it will create another instance to replace that one. So in that case, will I able to achieve fault tolerance if I create a servers using auto scaling group? Yes. And Sonali is saying no. If I am creating a servers using auto scaling group, can I achieve fault tolerance? Someone is saying no. Understand the question. If I create a servers using auto scaling group, can I achieve fault tolerance? Yes. Because it will perform the health check. If it is identified that it is unhealthy, it will terminate and create a new instance. And also, if required, can I create an auto scaling group to use multiple availability zones? Let's say I'm creating 5 servers using auto scaling group. Is it possible for me to choose multiple availability zones within that region? Which means does auto scaling will have servers in different availability zones also instead of single availability zone? Yes. So if I can use auto scaling to use multiple zones. Let's say I am using 5 servers. Is it possible for auto scaling to place 2 servers in one availability zone, another 3 servers in another availability zone, like that? Yes. In that case, for some reason, one of the availability zone itself is impacted. Do we still have some servers available in another availability zone? Yes. And also, whatever servers which was running in this one, will it be again recreated in some other availability zone? Again, those servers, if this is not coming up? Yes. So we will achieve better fault tolerance. And also, do we have a better availability? better availability, high availability, which means since auto scaling help you to ensure that your application has right amount of capacity, right amount of servers, will I have always some servers available for my application to serve? Availability? Yes. And also at the same time, will I able to save some money? Better cost management, which means by using auto scaling, can I dynamically increase and decrease the capacity, number of servers required based on the load dynamically, not manually, automatically. Instead of upfront, I am having 15 servers, 20 servers for my application. Can I have minimum 5 servers? Can I create auto scaling policies? So based on the load, will it increase and decrease the servers whenever there is a load? That way, will I able to save some money also? You can save money. You can save money by launching instances whenever they are actually needed and terminating them when they are not needed based on the load. Just to give an example, if I am not increasing and decreasing, even though there is a load, what will happen? The existing servers will crash based on the load. If you are not increasing and decreasing the servers, let's say whatever servers you have, will it be overloaded? I mean to say, will it have lot of CPU memory utilization? Will it crash? Yes. And instead of manually increasing and decreasing, will I able to create some auto scaling policies, dynamic scaling policies or auto scaling policies? So based on the load, automatically servers will be increased and decreased. So this is auto scaling does. Sometimes in the interview also they are asking, what services you will leverage? What services you will leverage to achieve high availability in your applications if you are using AWS? What services you will leverage? Can I use ELB with auto scaling? Not only just ELB or not only just auto scaling. Can I use ELB with auto scaling? ELB plus auto scaling? ELB plus auto scaling. So what ELB does? ELB will route the traffic. What auto scaling does? Does auto scaling will manage the servers, increase and decrease the servers based on the load. So with the help of ELB plus auto scaling, will I able to achieve high availability, fault tolerance in my application in cloud like AWS? Yes. But do you have these type of features if you are going with on-prem environment, your own data center? No. In that case, do you need to manually increase the servers and add those servers to your load balancer? And if some server goes down, do you need to terminate and recreate another server yourself and update that server details in load balancer again? We have very tough time to manage everything. Manual intervention is required. Do you have these type of features in other cloud also? Not only just AWS. Do you have this type of auto scaling in other cloud also like Azure? Yes. In Azure, instead of auto scaling, the name is different. Scale sets. We call it as a scaling sets or scale sets in Azure. In AWS, we are calling as auto scaling. But in Azure, it is calling as, it is treated as a scale set or scale sets. In GCP, different terminology. But all these clouds are having these type of services made available to the users based on the demand. Yes. Now, let's try to understand auto scaling concepts. The way we have a, in ELB, the way we have a listeners, the way we have a listeners, the way we have a target groups in ELB. Similarly, in auto scaling also we have some concepts. So in auto scaling group, launch configuration, launch configuration or template, launch configuration or template, auto scaling policies, or we call it as a scaling policies. Scaling policies. Guys, one more thing I wanted to tell you, I forgot about this one. When it comes to ELB, what are the load balancers we have as of now? Network load balancer, network load balancer. Another one is application load balancer. And one more is there, classic load balancer. So sometimes in the interview they'll ask, what is this classic load balancer? I thought of explaining what is this. This network load balancer, can I call this as a TCP or layer 4 load balancer? TCP protocol layer 4. This application load balancer, HTTP or HTTPS layer 7. So this classic load balancer supports both. It supports both, which means it supports layer 4, it supports TCP and also HTTP, HTTPS. But this is a legacy load balancer. What is the meaning of legacy load balancer? This is legacy load balancer in AWS. What is the meaning of legacy? Old one. The first generation of the first generation of load balancer. So they are going to deprecate this load balancer soon. They are going to deprecate this load balancer soon, which means, are they going to have classic load balancer maybe down the line after 1 or 2 years? No. So this is very old load balancer, old type. Instead of this one, they have application load balancers, they have a network load balancer separately. So this gateway load balancer is for different purpose. This is for different purpose. So I am not covering, this is not part of our scope also. I am not covering what is this gateway load balancer. Just to give an idea, let me show that what is the gateway load balancer. Guys, AWS, whatever I am discussing, don't think that is the AWS. There are more than that. I am just covering 40% of AWS only. I am just covering 40% of AWS. There are more than what I am covering here. But different use cases, different teams. There are services available for machine learning. Suppose you are working on machine learning platform, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Do you have a services supported for that in AWS? Yes. And also you are working on Hadoop and big data. You are working on Hadoop and big data, big queries. Do you have services available for that big data, Hadoop, big queries? Yes. You are working on databases as a RD, administrator. Do you have a service RDS? You have a CloudWatch, SNS, SQS, Anthos, kind of a messaging brokers. AWS is like a ocean, guys, based on the requirement, based on the team you belongs to, you have to explore that one. I am covering only whatever is required. Basics or at least core services as a DevOps engineer. Is RDS should be good to know as a DevOps engineer? Yes, if you know RDS, good, well and good. Now here the gateway load balancer. Here we have one more type of load balancer. This gateway load balancer. This is for different purpose. So this gateway load balancer, you need to deploy third-party applications. This is altogether different use case, right? Third-party virtual applications. Then you can go and use this gateway load balancers. This is altogether different. Okay. So our syllabus is already vast. Our syllabus is already too vast. So I am covering only whatever is required. On top of this, you need to explore, guys, based on your requirement. Sometimes once you get into a job, they may ask you to work on Lambda, They may ask you to work on CloudWatch. On top of this, you guys has to explore. Sometimes they may ask you to use SQN, SQS. But once you know these core services, exploring other will be simple. Based on the requirement. If they have a requirement, they ask you to work on this one. But if you are not part of this team and you are part of different team, you no need to worry. The other team guy will take care of all these things. AWS is like an ocean. And again, you no need to learn everything at one shot. Based on the requirement, based on the use case, based on the project you are working, based on the team you are working. First get into a job, then the DevOps itself will start you to learn something. Because the moment you join in your project, they ask, I am not using so and so tool, I am using so and so tool. In that case, do you have any other choice except learning and exploring? You have to start learning. This is like the way we have a continuous integration. The way we have a continuous integration in software. In software, we need to do this. In the software, whether you are a developer, whether you are a DevOps guy, whether you are a developer, whether you are a DevOps guy, whether you are a database admin, whatever it is, the way we have a continuous integration in DevOps, you need to continuously learn. Software is not like a government job. Once you get into a job, same type of work. It is never like that. Today I am working on something, tomorrow something else. Not like maybe every day, I can say, maybe at least every year, at least you need to learn some new tool. At least every year, some new tool in your area. Not like every day or every month. If you don't upgrade, that tool will be outdated in the down the line next 2-3 years. Will you be in demand if your tool is outdated? No. It is like a old stock. The recruiters will consider you as a old stock. So that is also important. But no need to be panic. Don't worry what Balaji sir is saying. I need to learn every day like a school kid. It's not like that. You need to continuously learn. And again, in single day or within a week, you are going to do everything whatever you are learning in the project. Are you going to do in a single day? You are going to create a CI pipeline, CD pipelines, or infrastructure within a day? No, there are timelines. There are timelines. They will give some time. Within that time, you need to implement. So don't be panic. Don't think I need to learn each and every tool in the DevOps. If you have that mindset, you have to attend DevOps course for at least 3 years. By the time all the tools you learned, does new tools comes into the market again after learning 3 years, all the tools, again new tools comes into the market. Don't go with that mindset, okay? Current trend, learn. After 2-3 years, again new technology, new tool comes in the DevOps, again learn that one. After down the line 2-3 years. With whatever tools you guys are learning, let's say now, these are current tools used in the DevOps. Will I able to survive for next 3-4 years? Yes. But after that, you need to start upgrading again. But once you know what is DevOps, what is CI, what is CD, tool is getting changed, but the basics are getting different. Basics are changed, no, right? In the school, you guys learned ABC. In offices, you are writing very big sentences and mails. Does the basics change? Does ABC will change? ABC will be ABC, but the concepts you have to adapt and learn. Okay. Now let's come back. Sometimes I also started going out of the topic. It might be good or it might not be good for you. So let's continue again on our topic. Now, in auto scaling, we have some concepts like this: auto scaling groups, launch configuration, scaling plan. What is this auto scaling group? So we can create auto scaling group by defining minimum and a maximum and optionally desired servers, desired capacity in the sense servers. So can I create one auto scaling group by defining minimum and maximum and optionally desired capacity, basically servers? Yes. So we can create auto scaling group by defining, we can create auto scaling group by defining the minimum and maximum and optionally desired number of EC2 instances servers. So who will manage servers then? If I create an auto scaling group by defining minimum as 2, so who will manage those 2 servers? Who will create? Who will create and manage? Do I need to manually create the way we have created so far? Do I need to manually come to EC2 and create instance like this if I want to go with auto scaling groups? No, you should not come here and create instance like this. If it is auto scaling group, who will create the servers and who will manage the servers? Auto scaling, AWS. AWS auto scaling does that. So can I create auto scaling group by defining minimum and maximum servers? How many minimum servers is required? How many maximum servers it can go? Yes. Then how come auto scaling knows? How come auto scaling knows what type of instance has to be created, what AMI has to be used, what is the security groups, how much storage, how auto scaling knows which instance type it has to use, which AMI it has to use, what software should be part of that servers which is created by auto scaling. How does auto scaling knows? That is where one more information here, one more concept called launch configuration. Launch configuration. Because when I am using auto scaling group, who is creating the servers? Are you creating the servers manually? No, AWS auto scaling. So does AWS auto scaling should know what AMI has to be used for that servers and what instance type has to be used for that servers, what security group has to be used, in which network it has to create? Does all these things should be provided somehow to the auto scaling groups? Yes. So how do we provide that information? There is a one more concept called launch configuration. Launch configuration. So auto scaling group will use launch configuration to launch EC2 instances, which means does auto scaling will use whatever launch configuration I created for that auto scaling group, will it use that launch configuration to create EC2 instances? Yes. So in launch configuration, what do we provide? What launch configuration provides? That launch configuration or template, it will provide the information about AMI, instance type, security group, user data, and all those stuff. So does auto scaling will use this launch configuration to launch instances? I mean to say servers, that EC2 instances? Yes. Suppose I created a launch configuration saying that use Red Hat AMI, use use T2.micro server. Then does auto scaling will create T2.micro server with Red Hat instance AMI? If I create a launch configuration saying that T2.medium or Red Hat like that, yes. So this is launch configuration. In simple, can I say launch configuration or template is input for auto scaling group? In simple words, can I say launch configuration or launch template is an input for auto scaling group? Yes. Auto scaling will launch the servers based on the launch configuration. Now, next, scaling plan. Scaling plan. Again, here there are different types of scaling. Scaling plan or scaling policies. Scaling plan or scaling policies. We have manual, we have scheduled, we have manual, we have scheduled, we have dynamic or auto. Dynamic or auto. Manual scaling policy, manual policy, scheduled policy, and dynamic or auto scaling policy. So what is the meaning of manual scaling? Suppose I created an auto scaling group saying that minimum 2, maximum 5. I don't have any scaling policies. I don't have any scaling policies. I just created saying that minimum 2, maximum 5. Will I have how many servers I will have always? Whether there is a load, whether there is a no load, always how many servers I will have? 2. But even though there is a lot of load, I don't have any policies. I have not done anything. Will I get a third server, fourth server if I don't have any scaling policy? Will I get a third server, fourth server if I don't have any scaling policy? No. So scaling plan or scaling policies, will tell when to scale and how to scale. When to scale and how to scale. The scaling plan or scaling policy will tell when to scale and how to scale. Now there are these type of scaling, manual. What is the meaning of manual scaling? At any time, using GUI or CLI or using API, can I come and update these numbers? Can I come and update these numbers? Let's say minimum is 2. By default, desired will be 2. Now, can I come and update this desired number from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 manually or 4 to 5 like this? Manually using GUI or using CLI or using API, can I update this desired number manually? By default, if minimum is 2, desired will be what? Desired will be what? 2. Now, if I come and update my desired number as 3, currently 2 servers will be there. Will it try to match again with this desired number? So currently 2 are there, expected is 3. So will it try to recreate one more machine? Will it create one more machine to match this desired number? Yes. So this desired number, can I come and update manually using GUI, console, CLI, API? Now let's say maximum is 5, desired is 5. Now is it possible? I have defined maximum as 5. Can I have like desired as 6, 7 like that? No. Maximum 5. But if the maximum, can I change again? If required maximum, can I change it to 10? And can I update my desired number to 6, 7 like this manually? Yes. This is manual scaling. What is scheduled? What is the meaning of scheduled? It's like a cron job or a time based on the time event, which means can I create a scheduled policy saying that from morning 6 o'clock to night 9 o'clock, I want to have 4 servers. From night 9 o'clock to till morning 6 o'clock, I want to have only 2 servers for my application like that. Can I create scheduled policy? Yes. Even though there is a load, there is no load, will it always be same based on your event, based on your scheduled policy? Whether you have a load, whether you don't have a load, based on the scheduled policy, it will manage the servers. This is scheduled. What is this dynamic or auto scaling policies? This is based on the metrics. Based on the metrics. What is the meaning of metrics? Based on the CPU or based on the network latencies, like this. Guys, auto scaling by default is not supporting memory. By default, memory metric is not supported, only CPU. And also based on the load balancing requests also, number of requests, is it able to increase? Suppose that server is serving 1000 requests per minute. Will I able to increase based on the load balancing request count also? Yes, we can do that. Based on the CPU also you can do that, but not on the memory. Now, obviously, whenever there is a load, the CPU utilization will go high on that server. Obviously, whenever there is a load, the CPU utilization will go high. So based on the CPU utilization, can I create a dynamic scaling policy saying that if CPU utilization is greater than or equals to 75% or 80%, if CPU utilization is greater than 70% or 80%, can I create one policy? Anytime, the moment the CPU utilization reach this much, does this scaling policy will inform, does this scaling policy will update this design number? Suppose as of now it is like this. The moment it reaches CPU utilization, the threshold values, CPU threshold values, 80%, then does this scaling policy will update this design number programmatically, automatically in the background? Does this scaling policy will programmatically or automatically will it update this design number from 3? Even though after having 3 servers, still the CPU is very high, will it able to again update to 4, 5 this desired capacity automatically? Yes. Anytime, whenever there is a load, it will update. But even though after having 5 servers, still you have very high CPU utilization, very high load, will it does like this? Will I get more servers? No. So it will scale up to whatever maximum you have defined. Up to whatever maximum you have defined. It can scale up to maximum you have defined. But if you have defined your maximum as 10, then will it scale up to 10? Yes. So if your maximum is 5, can it scale 6th server, 7th server? Will I get a 6th server, 7th server like that automatically, even though there is a load? No. But anytime can you come and update this maximum manually again? This maximum will not be updated automatically. Can we update this maximum anytime manually again? But this maximum will not be updated automatically. This minimum also will not be updated automatically. What is going to be updated automatically, programmatically by the scaling policy? This desired number. Now, let's say the load is very less now. The load is very less now. Will it again decrease the servers if there is no load like this again? But even though there is no load, minimum how many servers will be always maintained? This one. This one. So is everyone clear? Theoretically, what is auto scaling? What is launch configuration? And what is scaling plan? In scaling, what is manual scaling? What is schedule scaling? What is dynamic scaling? And also, auto scaling also perform the health checks. Auto scaling also perform the health checks. Why it will perform health checks? Why it will perform health checks? Auto scaling also perform the health check. Why? Because does this auto scaling has to verify whether whatever servers are created and managed by auto scaling, whether they are healthy or not, whether that servers are available or not. So if it is not healthy, what auto scaling does, guys? if health check is failed in auto scaling, what auto scaling does, as I already told, will it terminate and recreate that server? Will it terminate that unhealthy server and will create a new server? So that way, will I have always servers available for my application if I go with auto scaling? Yes. So this health checks, it will perform instance health checks. It will perform instance health checks. If I am using auto scaling with load balancing, does auto scaling can use ELB health checks also? If I am integrating this auto scaling with load balancer, will I able to use ELB health checks also in my auto scaling if I'm integrating auto scaling with load balancer? ELB health checks also will be performed. What is the difference between instance health checks and ELB health check? If it is only instance health check, does auto scaling will be able to determine if the Tomcat is running or not, whether application is running or not? If it is only instance health check, it cannot determine whether Tomcat is running, application is running. Maximum what it can check, whether that server is running or not. That will check something like this case, whether that server is in this state or not, whether that server is in this state or not. Even though server is running, is there a possibility that your Tomcat might not be working, your application might not be working in that server? Yes. In that case, if I am using only health checks, instance health checks, my Tomcat is down. Does auto scaling is going to terminate and recreate another server if I am using only instance health checks? No. But if I am using auto scaling with load balancing, can I use load balancing health checks also in auto scaling? In that case, if I am using ELB health checks in my auto scaling group, then if the Tomcat is down or application is down, does auto scaling will terminate and recreate another server? Yes. Is everyone clear what is this health check? What is instance health check in auto scaling and what is ELB health checks in auto scaling? Okay. Now let's try to do this. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do this. Before I create auto scaling, what is the most important one I need? What is the most important one I need? What needs to be created first before I create auto scaling? EC2 instance. I am not going to create any EC2 instance. Who is going to create EC2 instance if I am going with auto scaling? Who is going to create EC2 instance if I am going with auto scaling? That auto scaling group only. That AWS auto scaling group only will create. But before creating auto scaling, what is the input for auto scaling? As I already told, what is the input for auto scaling? Launch configuration. What needs to be launched? Does auto scaling should know what needs to be launched, what needs to be created, what needs to be launched? Does auto scaling should know what needs to be created, what type of server needs to be created, what type of AMI has to be used, what is the security group for those servers, what are the SSH keys to log into those servers, and also most importantly user data. Now we need to create a launch configuration or launch template. Launch template is an advanced version of launch configuration. Launch template is an advanced version of launch configuration. You can use anything, launch configuration or launch template. Now, if you go here, if you see, Let me make this application again up. Let me make this application again up. As of now, is my servers are managed by auto scaling, whatever servers I have for that application? No. So that's why, am I getting any server automatically created? Am I able to access my application again? If you see, no. So do I need to manually manage now? If I'm not using auto scaling, do I need to manually come and again fix that problem? I need to start this again. Permission denied. Let me change the ownership recursively. I'm changing for this user. Do I need to manually come and fix this problem again? If that server is down, I need to bring the server up. If Tomcat is down, I need to bring the Tomcat up. If that is up, then my application is accessible. Now one more server is completely stopped. Again, do I need to manually come and make sure that server is running and Tomcat is running, my application is running again there? Yes. But if I go with auto scaling, does this will be managed by AWS itself? If something goes wrong with server, you will get another server automatically. Yes. But as I already told, do I need to create a launch configuration? Because auto scaling should know what type of server has to be created, what instance type, what AMI that is required. Now, as of now, if you see here, do you have auto scaling option here? One more here, auto scaling option. Here, do you have two things here? Auto scaling groups and launch configurations. So launch configuration is very, very important. So launch configuration is an input for auto scaling group. There are two things. You can use launch template or launch configuration. Launch template is an advanced version of launch configuration. I'm just using a launch configuration for now. I'm clicking on launch configuration. I can give some name, something like this. For this application, I am creating Maven web app launch configuration, something like this, launch configuration. Now here, do I need to select what AMI has to be used? This launch configuration will be used by auto scaling, and whatever AMI I am selecting here, with that AMI, does auto scaling will create a server? This launch configuration will be used by auto scaling, and whatever AMI I am selecting, with this AMI, does auto scaling will create a server? Yes. Now let's say I'm taking plain Red Hat. Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Let's say plain Red Hat AMI I'm taking. Does that plain Red Hat AMI, if I take, does that AMI will have Java software? Does that AMI will have my Tomcat software or my application? No. In that case, will that AMI will be any helpful for my server? I no need to again manually configure my server. I no need to again manually configure and deploy my application manually. That has to be, everything has to be automated. If I take plain AMI, there is of no use. Even though I take plain AMI, can I use user data or bootstrapping here again? Can I use user data or bootstrapping here in the launch configuration again? So can I write user data bootstrapping script? That installation, user data or bootstrapping, can I do the installation and setup fully automated using that user data or bootstrapping? By taking a plain AMI, I can do that. But if I don't want to write a lot of complex bootstrapping script, user data, in which I will install the software and download the WAR file from artifacts like S3 or Nexus or JFrog, also I can download my var files. I can write all those commands in the user data. Installing Java, installing Tomcat, downloading the var file from Nexus or JFrog also. I can write everything as part of user data. But if I don't want to write complex user data, can I go with one more approach? Instead of taking a plain AMI, can I create custom AMI, my own AMI, that we call it as a golden image? So what is the meaning of golden image, custom image? Can I create my own AMI with all the required configurations and softwares? First, can I use that AMI as part of this launch configuration? Instead of using this plain Red Hat AMI, can I take that my AMI, that custom AMI or golden image? Yes. Now, if I use custom image or golden image, do I need to write complex user data to configure and install? Not required, right? Now, let me take my own AMI. How can I take my own AMI? I already have server, let's say. I already have some server. In that server, I already have a Tomcat software, Java software, and also my application is also there. If I create a AMI out of that existing server, does that server, that AMI will have everything, softwares, configurations, plus your application also? Now, this server, this server, this server, do I have already Tomcat in this server, Java in this server, and also my var file also there? My var file also there. But if required, you don't want to have a var file, can I have only Java and Tomcat? Can I use user data to download the var file from Nexus or JFrog Artifactory in the user data? Can I execute curl command by pointing to the Nexus URL or JFrog URL in the user data? Can I use curl or wget on the Nexus endpoint to download the var file directly from Nexus also if required? Yes, you can do that one also. Otherwise, I already have a var file in this application, in this server itself. Can I create a AMI out of this server? AMI out of this server. If you see, my application is already accessible from that server. Can I take a AMI out of that server? Selecting that server, go to actions, image and template, create a image. I am saying something like this: Maven app AMI. So this AMI is going to have Red Hat OS because that server is created using Red Hat AMI. So Red Hat OS, along with Red Hat, am I going to have a Java and also Tomcat and my var file also? Because did I install Java? Did I install Tomcat? Deployed my var file manually last time? Yes. So if I'm creating a AMI out of that server, does this AMI will have Red Hat with Java, Tomcat and application package also? Yes. Now, what is this option? No reboot. When you are creating a AMI, if you don't want to reboot this server, this original server, you can select this option. If you don't select this option, while creating this AMI, does AWS will reboot that server while taking the AMI? Yes. So let's leave that as is. All the default options. I am creating an image. Now, can I use this image as part of my launch configuration instead of taking plain Red Hat or CentOS AMI? Can I use this AMI in my launch configuration here while I'm creating a launch configuration? Can I use that here? Yes. In that way, do I need to write complex user data, guys? Do I need to write any complex user data? Not required. So this AMI will be used by auto scaling to create a server. So will that server have Java, Tomcat, and also your var file? whatever server is going to be created by auto scaling with this launch configuration? Yes. So let me do that. That AMI is getting created. If I go to the AMI section, can I see that AMI now? It is under creation. This AMI is getting created. Now, can I use this AMI while creating a launch configuration? Here, there is no refresh button. There is no refresh button here. So do I need to again come back from beginning here? Again, I need to load that page, create launch configuration. Then let me give some name, Maven Web launch configuration. Now, is it showing that AMI? Now that Maven AMI, whatever I created? Yes. Let me select this. Now, what type of instance has to be created by auto scaling with this launch configuration? Can I choose the instance type based on my requirement? What type of instance has to be created by auto scaling group? Can I select T2.micro, large, medium based on my requirement? Yes. Choose the instance type. Choose the instance type. For now, I am just selecting T2.micro. But your requirement says you want to use T2.x large. Can you select that one if your requirement says that? Yes. I am selecting just T2.micro. Now, IAM role. I will discuss this later. For now, I no need to attach any IAM role. I don't have any requirement to attach any IAM role to this server. So I am leaving this as is, anything. In the advanced details, still I will give some user data. Sir, why still you need to give user data? What is missing? You already have everything in the AMI itself. What is still missing? I have a Java, I have a Tomcat, I have a WAR file. What is still missing? Is Tomcat is going to be started automatically the moment the server is going to start? No. Did I created a service, Tomcat service? Did I enable Tomcat as a service on the Bootstrap in the earlier server? No. Which means, do I need to manually start the Tomcat? Yes. So instead of manually starting, can I have that as a user data, only starting the Tomcat while creating a server itself? Something like this. Shebang line. I am going to have something like this. Sometimes we are getting permission issues. Sometimes we are getting permission issues. So first what I am saying, changing the permissions to this one recursively, going inside that directory, just starting. Only these 3 lines I am adding as a user data. So does this user data will be executed while creating the server for the first time? So does Tomcat will be started automatically? Yes. Now I have done in the user data. Then how much storage that server has to use? I'm going with the default storage. Now, do I need to open some ports here? Yes. But now the problem here is whatever port I am going to create here, or whatever security group I am creating here in the line, in which VPC the security group will be created? Whatever security group is getting created here, whether even the add role here, a new rule, in which VPC the security group is going to be created? In the default VPC. But if I want to use this auto scaling, if I want to use this launch configuration in a different VPC, will I able to use this launch configuration in another VPC? No, you can't do that. So that's why, can I go and create security group in that VPC in which I am planning to create launch configuration and auto scaling, basically auto scaling? Yes. First go to this one, go to security group first. Go to your EC2 dashboard, go to your security group, go to your security groups. but you already have a security group. Can I select that one? You already have some security group in that VPC. Let's say this VPC. Let's say this VPC. This VPC, you already have some security group in that VPC. You can select that one. Otherwise, can I go ahead and create new security group by going to that EC2 dashboard, go to the security groups, create security group. But you are planning to create auto scaling in that VPC. In that case, do I need to create security group also in that VPC? This VPC? Yes. Now I am saying this Maven web app security group, something like this. So here, can I open whatever ports? If I want to SSH, I can open port 22. Do I need to open this port also? 8080, because Tomcat is going to run on that one. Now here, again, instead of opening for everywhere, can I open only for the load balancer by using that load balancer security group ID here, if required? Instead of opening for everyone, can I open only for that load balancer security group here? Yesterday I told, right? That security group ID you can use. For now, I am opening everywhere. So this is the security group. Some description, create a security group. Now, can I use this security group in my launch configuration? When I'm creating a launch configuration here, can I use that security group? But I came to this page. I came to this page before creating a security group. Is it reflecting that one? No. So there are small improvements in the AWS also. At least they should have given refresh button here. Did they give refresh button here? Anish Kumar Pai is asking, can you select this create new security group? If I use this, do I have an option here in which VPC this security group is going to be created? I don't have an option. So in which VPC this security group is going to be created? Default. Now I came here, again I go back here. Again I came here, again I go back here, but it is still not reflected because this is loaded when the page is loaded. This is loaded when the page is loaded. Again, do I need to refresh this whole page? But if I do this, again, do I need to come from beginning, selecting AMI, selecting instance type, and again defining this user data? So there are some improvements in the AWS also. If they would have given refresh button here, do I need to again load that complete page again? It is not like a bug. I cannot say it is not a bug. It's an enhancement. It's enhancements. They should enhance this one. AWS is also an application. They need to enhance this like this. So I don't have that enhancement here. Now let me come back again. From the beginning, I am coming back. Create launch configuration. Yeah, guys, we can give the feedback. We can give the feedback. I am creating a launch configuration by selecting this AMI, by selecting this instance type, by selecting this instance type. Some locations they have given refresh button. Some locations they have not given refresh button. So this is the one of the place refresh button is required. Otherwise they should have an option to select this one also, in which subnet, in which VPC you have to create a security group. Now let me give again user data. Again, let me give user data. Just starting, but don't copy paste as is, because here I need to update something. /opt/8. Recursively, I am changing the permissions. This is my user data. I selected this AMI, my own AMI. User data is given. Security group. Now can I use that security group, whatever I created? This one, Maven Web App Security Group. This is created in this VPC. Now in that VPC, I created that security group where I have opened ports. SSH port also opened, Tomcat port also opened. Now, if you want to SSH to those servers, which is created using auto scaling group, can I select key pair? Which key pair you can use if you want to SSH to the servers, which is created by auto scaling? Yes. Now, I am acknowledging this one. With this, I am creating a launch configuration. Does it mean, is it going to create a servers now? I am creating a launch configuration. Does it mean, is it going to create a servers now? No. I am just creating a launch configuration. Now, can I use this launch configuration while creating auto scaling group now? Yes. Now, as of now, do I have any auto scaling group? No. Now, let me create a auto scaling group by clicking on this create auto scaling. I can give some name, Maven Web App ASG. What is the ASG? What is ASG stands for? Auto scaling group. So here, do I need to select launch template or launch configuration here as an input when I'm creating auto scaling? If you see, yes. But did I created a launch template or launch configuration? Launch configuration. Launch template is an advanced version. So can I click on this one, switch to launch configuration here, and can I select that launch configuration, whatever I created? So is auto scaling is going to use all this information? Is it going to create a servers using this AMI with this instance type? That is the security group for those instances. This is the key pair for that. And also, do we have user data, that bootstrapping script defined? Yes. So I'm selecting a launch configuration here. In which VPC I want to create this auto scaling group and its servers? Can I select this VPC? Flipkart Dev VPC? Yes. In which subnets? In which subnets? Now I'm going to select the subnets. Which subnets I will select, guys? I want to create the servers in which subnet? Can I select public subnets here? All these subnets. Can I select like all the 4 subnets like this? Is it correct? No. The servers may come in public subnet also. That's why I'm not going to select all. Can I select only whatever is required? Krishna Prasad is saying select wherever our server is running. It is not like that. In which subnet you want to create a servers, that you need to select here. In which subnet you want to create a servers by auto scaling, you are selecting here. It is not like you already have some server, select that subnet. No, you have to select in which subnet you need to create a servers. So can I select these 2 subnets? Private subnet of 1A. If I select only this one, and if I say 5 servers minimum or 2 servers minimum, does all the servers will be created in same subnet, same availability zone? If I select only this one? Yes. Is this correct again? As per best practices? No. So can I select one more subnet also? Private subnet in 1B, which means suppose if I am creating 2 servers minimum, does one server will be created in this subnet, another server will be created in this subnet by auto scaling if I am selecting 2 as minimum? When it is scaling also, will it scale accordingly, balance between these subnets? Yes, I selected these 2. Next, now can I integrate auto scaling with load balancing, which means whatever servers are getting created by auto scaling, whatever servers are getting scaled by auto scaling, is it possible to automatically register those servers in my target groups? Is used in my load balancer automatically? I no need to manually register those targets. which are used in my load balancer. Is it possible for me to integrate auto scaling with load balancing? Yes. You have these options. You have these options. No load balancer, attached to existing load balancer, attached to new load balancer. If required, while creating auto scaling itself, can I create a new load balancer? Again, if I don't have load balancer, I can create like this. But do I already have a load balancer? Yes. So can I select this one, existing? So choose from load balancer target. Whatever servers are going to be created by this auto scaling, to which target group it has to add. Can I select this target group, this Maven web app target group? Is this target group is used in the load balancer? Is this target group is used in the load balancer? Yes. Now, is it correct to select this target group for this auto scaling call, this one? No, because this is different application. If required, can you create another auto scaling group, another launch configuration for this application? If required, another auto scaling group, another launch configuration, yes. So for now, I am selecting this one. Now, whatever servers are going to be created by auto scaling, do I need to manually come and register in the target group used in my load balancer now? Not required. Everything will be taken care by AWS itself. Importantly, this health checks. Health checks. Now, if it is only EC2 health checks, is it going to check whether that server, that application is running or not, whether Tomcat is running or not if I select this one? No. Can I select this ELB health checks also? In this target group, do we already define health checks? In this target group, we already defined health checks. So does auto scaling will use those health checks also along with instance health checks? Is it going to use that ELB health checks also? Yes. So I'm selecting that one, ELB health checks. Now, next, desired capacity, minimum capacity, maximum capacity. So minimum, my requirement, let's say minimum is 2. So what should be the desired? If minimum is 2, what should be the desired? Again, 2. 2. So maximum, this minimum and maximum, will it be always like this, guys? 2 and 5? Will it be always like this 2 and 5? No, this is based on your requirement. Can I have minimum as 10, maximum as 100? Like 100 servers maximum, 10 servers minimum, like that. So if this is 10, what should be the desired value if I have to give here for the first time? 10. But I don't want those many things. So I am saying 2. I am saying 5. Desired is 2. Now this scaling, auto scaling, dynamic scaling. If I'm going with this none option, the scaling will happen. I mean to say, anytime will I get a third server, fourth server, like that? Even though there is a load? No. So here we have one more option here, target tracking scaling policy. Target tracking scaling policy. So if I select this one, based on the CPU utilization, let's say target, let's say I have defined as 80. The moment the CPU utilization goes to 80%, does auto scaling comes into picture? Does this scaling policy will automatically update these desired numbers? So here, do we have like this CPU utilization, application load balancer request, count per target? Based on the number of requests served by the servers also I can scale. Based on the CPU utilization also I can scale. Now if I define something like this, this is the target value. What is this instance warm up period? So it will wait first 5 minutes before it is performing any health check. The server is created. Is it going to perform the health check immediately? No. It will wait 30, 300 seconds default. 300 seconds default, 5 minutes. With this, I am creating a scaling policy. Next, if you want to send any notifications, Like emails, whenever servers are getting scaled, increased, decreased, if you want to send any notifications, there are notification services you can send. I am not covering that, I am skipping that. Next, tags. For your servers, you can add tags. For servers, you can add tags. Something like this. Maven web app server. I am saying like this. ASG. Next. With this, if I create auto scaling group, the moment I click on this button, how many servers I will get, guys? How many servers I will get now? The moment I click on this, 2. I already have some servers. Will it consider these servers? Will it consider these servers? I already have some servers. Will it consider these servers? This one? No. Because is this created and managed by auto scaling? No. This is manually created. So the moment I click on this create auto scaling group, now am I going to get this minimum capacity, that is desired capacity now, which means am I going to get 2 servers created with that launch configuration, and is those servers will be automatically added to the target group of load balancer? Yes. Now I am getting a servers here. I am getting a servers here automatically. 2 servers I will see here. Automatically that servers will be coming here. Automatically I will see those 2 servers. That auto scaling will create those 2 servers. Is those servers will be automatically added in the target group? In the target group, can I see that automatically here in this target group after some time? Is the target group is used in my load balancer? So will the request will go to the servers which is created and managed by auto scaling? Yes. Now let's see. Do you see? I got 2 servers now. These 2. Do you see? Is it getting initialized? Is it getting initialized? So who is creating these servers? In the background, who is creating these servers? Auto scaling group. Now, is this servers is created using as per my launch configuration? Is the servers are created using that instance type, using that AMI, whatever has been defined? Yes. And also, is the servers are reflected in target groups automatically since I integrated? Now, can I see these 2 servers? It is saying initial. It is saying initial. After some time, can I see if everything is perfect? Can I see these servers as healthy? If that application is running successfully as per this health checks, if that application is running successfully, I can see this as healthy. Now, if something goes wrong with this server, which is manually created, am I going to get any other server? If I terminate this server also, am I going to get any another server? Manually I'm creating. So if I terminate also, will I get any server? No. But if I intentionally terminate these servers, again am I going to get again servers? If I stop, terminate, again am I going to get the servers again? These 2? Yes. Because who created these 2 servers? Is these servers created by auto scaling and managing by auto scaling? Yes. So desired is 2. Desired is 2. If I terminate those 2 servers intentionally also, current will become what? Current instances will become what? 0 if I terminate. So desired is 2, current will be 0. So again will it try to match the current with the desired capacity again? Desired state reconciliation? Yes. So that way it will work. Now if you see, am I able to access the application now? This application, from which server I am getting the response? Is the application is getting responded from the server which is created by auto scaling, which means is my auto scaling I am getting the server, response from this one. So how come this application is deployed automatically? I have never deployed manually. That is because of AMI and that user data launch configuration. Even though I stop this server or terminate this server, am I going to get another server now? Because current will be 1, desired will be 2. So will it again match that current with the desired number, auto scaling? Yes. So this is how it works, guys. I'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow also I will have a class. I'll take a class. First 5-10 minutes I'll continue on this auto scaling. Later I will discuss IAM. IAM and CLI I'll continue tomorrow. So tomorrow is last for AWS. From Monday I am going to start Docker. From Monday I am going to start Docker. Is there any indications auto scaling versus manual scaling? What is manual scaling? You come to this console. Can I go here? Can I update the desired capacity manually? Can I update the desired capacity manually in this auto scaling? That is manual. Desired you are updating manually. But if I have a scaling policy, who will update this desired capacity? Who will update this desired capacity? As I told, the scaling policy. The scaling policy. Whatever policy you have created, right? That policy will update this desired number programmatically, automatically. Thank you, guys. I'll continue tomorrow. On IAM and CLI. From Monday, we are going to start Docker. As a DevOps engineer, these two are very, very important. Don't miss a single session, this Docker and Kubernetes from Monday. But tomorrow, I'm going to cover this IAM and CLI. And also first 5-10 minutes auto scaling. Thank you, guys. We'll continue tomorrow. How many days Docker? How many days Kubernetes? Docker may take 15 to 16 days. Docker may take 15 to 16 days. Kubernetes may take 22 to 24 days. These many classes are left still. Sir, what is this? It is like a college. I am attending complete 1 year your DevOps program because we are trying to discuss in and out of all the tools, very basics to advanced level. We are discussing. That's why it is taking time. But there are some we can cover. Some people are saying 30 days DevOps or 60 days. I know like 60 hours DevOps or 30 days DevOps like that. That may not help. That may not help. They will cover. I can also cover. I can also cover DevOps in 30 days or 60 hours. But that may not help anyway. So don't think I need a fast track. As we told in the beginning itself, if you attend the DevOps in fast track, same way you will move out of DevOps also in the same speed. So everything takes time, dedication. You need a dedication, you need a effort. It takes time to be expert in any area. So go with this flow. It will be useful. Okay. Thank you, guys. Maybe you might be thinking, sir, what Balaji sir is taking 15 minutes extra, 13 minutes extra. Sometimes he is taking 30 minutes. He's supposed to finish by 9:15. Now it is 9:45. Are you guys thinking that way? It might be useful. So that's why I'm taking something. But most of the cases, I'll not take more than 15 minutes more. I mean to say, I may not take more than 145 minutes. Most of the cases, but sometimes 5-10 minutes I need to discuss because you miss the flow, you lost that flow. So that's why bear with me. Okay, bear with me for that. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll continue tomorrow.